In the past, humanity could only document natural disasters through historical records and eyewitness accounts. However, with advancements in technology, we now have the ability to capture nature's fury in real time through cameras, providing terrifying and vivid footage. From massive earthquakes and devastating tsunamis to hurricanes that wipe out entire cities, these disasters have been recorded in shocking detail, sending chills down the spine of those who witness them. Today, World Mystery Wonders presents the top 10 most devastating natural disasters caught on camera from 1970 to 2025, showcasing the unimaginable destructive power of Mother Nature. Indian Ocean Tsunami, 2004. The ocean swallows everything. On December 26, 2004, at 7:58 a.m. local time, a 9.1 to 9.3 magnitude earthquake struck deep beneath the Indian Ocean near Sumatra, Indonesia. It was one of the most powerful earthquakes ever recorded, rupturing a 1,300-kilometer, 810-mile fault line and displacing massive volumes of water. Within minutes, a deadly tsunami formed, racing across the ocean at speeds of 800 kilometers per hour, 500 miles per hour. Cameras from coastal areas captured terrifying footage as waves over 30 meters, 100 feet, high slammed into beaches, engulfing everything in sight. Entire villages were wiped off the map, buildings crumbled, and people were swept away helplessly. Thailand, Sri Lanka, India, and even the eastern coast of Africa were devastated within hours. The catastrophe claimed over 230,000 lives across 14 countries, making it one of the deadliest natural disasters in history. Millions were left homeless, and the total economic damage exceeded $15 billion. The aftermath was horrifying. Bodies littered the streets, drinking water was contaminated, and disease outbreaks followed. This disaster led to the creation of the Indian Ocean Tsunami Warning System, a crucial step in preventing future tragedies of this scale. Nepal earthquake, 2015, a city shaken to its core. On April 25, 2015, at 11:56 a.m. local time, a 7.8 magnitude earthquake struck Kathmandu, Nepal, shaking the country to its core. The powerful quake lasted nearly 50 seconds, reducing centuries-old temples, homes, and entire villages to rubble. Security cameras and drone footage captured horrifying scenes as historic landmarks collapsed in seconds, roads split open, and thousands of terrified residents fled for their lives. The destruction was immense. Over 8,964 people lost their lives. More than 22,000 were injured, and entire communities were wiped out. The earthquake triggered massive landslides and avalanches, including one on Mount Everest, which killed 22 climbers, making it the deadliest day in Everest's history. More than 600,000 buildings were damaged or destroyed, leaving over 3 million people homeless. The economic toll exceeded $10 billion, nearly 50% of Nepal's GDP, plunging the country into a humanitarian crisis. Rescue efforts were hindered by aftershocks, damaged roads, and limited emergency response resources. This disaster highlighted Nepal's vulnerability to seismic activity and emphasized the urgent need for earthquake-resistant infrastructure in one of the world's most earthquake-prone regions. Hurricane Katrina, 2005, a city underwater. On August 29, 2005, Hurricane Katrina made landfall in New Orleans, USA, as a Category 5 storm with winds reaching 280 kilometers per hour, 175 miles per hour. The storm surge overwhelmed the levee system, causing catastrophic flooding that left 80% of the city submerged under up to 6 meters, 20 feet, of water. Aerial footage and rescue cameras captured horrifying images of entire neighborhoods swallowed by floodwaters, cars floating like debris, and thousands of residents stranded on rooftops, desperately signaling for help. The human cost was staggering. 1,836 people lost their lives, making it one of the deadliest hurricanes in U.S. history. More than 400,000 residents were displaced, many seeking refuge in the overcrowded Superdome Stadium, where they endured days without food, water, or medical aid. The hurricane also caused over $125 billion in damages, destroying more than 850,000 homes and completely wiping out coastal towns in Mississippi and Louisiana. The government's slow response led to widespread criticism and exposed severe flaws in disaster preparedness. In the aftermath, FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, underwent major reforms, and New Orleans invested billions in stronger flood protection systems. However, the scars of Katrina remain, both in the city's infrastructure and in the memories of those who endured its wrath. Australia bushfires, 2019 to 2020, a fiery apocalypse. From late 2019 to early 2020, Australia experienced one of the most devastating wildfire seasons in recorded history, known as Black Summer. Fueled by extreme heat, drought, and strong winds, over 18 million hectares, 44 million acres, of land were scorched, an area larger than England. Satellite images and drone footage captured apocalyptic scenes of entire forests engulfed in flames, skies turning blood red, and thick smoke blanketing major cities like Sydney and Melbourne. The inferno killed at least 33 people, injured hundreds, and destroyed more than 3,500 homes. However, the most tragic impact was on wildlife. Over 3 billion animals were killed or displaced, with species like koalas and kangaroos suffering massive population losses. The disaster also emitted 400 million tons of carbon dioxide, worsening climate change. The economic toll exceeded $100 billion, making it the costliest natural disaster in Australia's history. Thousands of firefighters battled the blazes for months, with international aid pouring in. In the aftermath, the Australian government faced pressure to take stronger action against climate change, as rising temperatures increased the risk of future mega-fires. China floods, 2021. A city turned into an ocean. In July 2021, central China's Henan province was hit by an unprecedented flood disaster, with Zhengzhou City at the epicenter. Over 617 millimeters, 24 inches, of rain fell in just 3 days, a year's worth of rainfall in less than a week. Rivers overflowed, streets became torrents, and entire districts were submerged. Satellite and surveillance footage captured shocking scenes of roads vanishing underwater, cars stacked like driftwood, and desperate residents forming human chains to escape the rising floodwaters. One of the most terrifying moments was recorded inside Zhengzhou's subway system, where more than 500 passengers were trapped in submerged train cars as floodwaters rose to chest level. Video footage showed people gasping for air, some sending farewell messages to loved ones. At least 14 people drowned in the subway, while more than 300 lost their lives across the province. The floods caused $17.6 billion in economic losses, destroying over 1 million hectares of farmland and forcing over 1.4 million people to evacuate. The disaster raised urgent questions about China's urban drainage systems and flood preparedness, as extreme weather events linked to climate change continue to threaten major cities worldwide. Tōhoku Tsunami, 2011. The Ocean's Rage. On March 11, 2011, at 2:46 p.m. local time, a 9.0 magnitude earthquake struck off the Tōhoku coast, Japan, the most powerful quake ever recorded in the country. The violent shaking lasted for 6 minutes, toppling buildings and triggering fires. But the real catastrophe came minutes later. A massive tsunami raced toward the coastline at 800 kilometers per hour, 500 miles per hour, with waves towering up to 40 meters, 130 feet. Horrifying footage showed entire towns swallowed by walls of water, cars and houses tossed around like toys, and people scrambling to rooftops for survival. The tsunami devastated over 500 kilometers, 310 miles, of Japan's coastline, sweeping away more than 120,000 buildings and leaving entire cities like Minami-Sanriku and Rikuzentakata in ruins. The death toll reached over 18,000, with 2,500 people still missing. Adding to the horror, the tsunami triggered a nuclear disaster at the Fukushima Daiichi power plant, causing massive radiation leaks and forcing 160,000 people to evacuate. The total economic damage exceeded $235 billion, making it the costliest natural disaster in history. Japan has since built 600 kilometers, 370 miles of tsunami defense walls. But this disaster remains a stark reminder of nature's unstoppable force. Eyjafjallajökull volcano eruption, 2010. The sky turns to ash. In April 2010, the Eyjafjallajökull volcano in Iceland erupted after being dormant for nearly 200 years, unleashing columns of ash rising over 10 kilometers, 6 miles into the sky. Cameras captured apocalyptic scenes of molten lava spewing from the crater, lightning storms forming within the dense ash clouds, and massive glacial meltwater floods rushing down the mountainside. While no direct casualties were reported, the eruption paralyzed global air travel for weeks. The ash cloud spread across Europe, forcing airlines to cancel over 100,000 flights, stranding millions of passengers, and costing the aviation industry $5 billion in losses. For Iceland, the eruption caused massive flooding, as melting glaciers sent torrents of water through farmlands, destroying homes and roads. Thousands of residents were forced to evacuate. Beyond economic damage, the eruption had global environmental consequences. The thick ash contaminated water supplies and farmlands, while sulfur dioxide emissions led to acid rain. This disaster served as a stark reminder of Iceland's volatile geology and the potential for even larger eruptions from neighboring volcanoes, such as the feared Katla, which could cause even greater devastation. Super Typhoon Haiyan, 2013, the most powerful landfalling storm. On November 8, 2013, Super Typhoon Haiyan, Yolanda, made landfall in the Philippines, bringing winds of 315 kilometers per hour, 195 miles per hour, the strongest tropical cyclone ever recorded at landfall. The storm surge, reaching 7.5 meters, 25 feet high, obliterated everything in its path. Footage captured terrifying scenes of entire towns submerged, concrete buildings crumbling, and cars swept away like paper. The city of Tacloban suffered the worst devastation, with nearly 90% of all structures destroyed. Thousands drowned as floodwaters rushed inland, while others were crushed beneath collapsed buildings. More than 6,300 people lost their lives, with over 28,000 injured and 4 million displaced. Bodies lay scattered in the wreckage for weeks, overwhelming rescue efforts. The typhoon caused $14 billion in damages, leaving millions without food, water, or shelter. In the aftermath, disease outbreaks spread, and survivors struggled to rebuild. Haiyan's sheer force shocked meteorologists and highlighted the increasing severity of storms due to climate change, prompting global discussions on disaster preparedness and mitigation efforts. Sulawesi earthquake and tsunami, 2018, a city torn apart. On September 28, 2018, a 7.5 magnitude earthquake struck Sulawesi, Indonesia, triggering a catastrophic tsunami, soil liquefaction, and massive destruction. The quake lasted for nearly a minute, toppling buildings and causing widespread panic. But the worst was yet to come. Just 3 minutes later, a 6-meter, 20-foot tsunami crashed into the coastal city of Palu, moving at 800 kilometers per hour, 500 miles per hour. Surveillance footage captured waves sweeping away homes, bridges collapsing, and people running in terror. Entire neighborhoods were swallowed as the ground turned to liquid, sinking buildings and trapping thousands beneath the rubble. The disaster claimed over 4,300 lives, left more than 211,000 people homeless, and caused $1.3 billion in damages. Roads were cut off, hospitals overwhelmed, and rescue teams struggled against aftershocks and landslides. The tragedy exposed critical failures in Indonesia's tsunami warning system, as many sirens failed to activate, leaving residents with no time to escape. The Sulawesi disaster was a harsh reminder of Indonesia's vulnerability to seismic activity and the devastating impact of earthquakes, tsunamis, and liquefaction occurring simultaneously. Turkey-Syria earthquake, 2023. A winter nightmare. On February 6, 2023, at 4:17 a.m. local time, a catastrophic 7.8 magnitude earthquake struck southeastern Turkey and northern Syria, followed by a powerful 7.5 magnitude aftershock hours later. Entire cities were reduced to rubble in seconds, as buildings collapsed like dominoes. Freezing temperatures and heavy snowfall made rescue efforts even more desperate. Cameras captured horrifying scenes of families trapped beneath pancaked buildings, roads splitting apart, and entire neighborhoods turned to dust. More than 50,000 people lost their lives, with over 120,000 injured and millions left homeless. In Syria, where civil war had already devastated infrastructure, the impact was even more severe, leaving thousands with no shelter, food, or medical aid. The economic losses exceeded $100 billion, making it one of the costliest earthquakes in modern history. Rescue teams from around the world rushed to help, but the sheer scale of destruction and bitter cold hampered relief efforts. This tragedy highlighted the urgent need for earthquake-resistant infrastructure in one of the world's most seismically active regions, serving as a grim reminder of nature's relentless power. Technology allows us to witness nature's fury firsthand, but it also serves as a powerful reminder of the dangers we face. Each disaster teaches us valuable lessons about resilience, preparedness, and the need for stronger safety measures. Have you ever witnessed a natural disaster? Which of these do you find the most terrifying? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to World Mystery Wonders for more shocking and mysterious stories from history.